SimRacing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Hello and welcome to round number 13 of the SimRacing Academy Championship. Today we're here for the United States Grand Prix around the circuit of the Americas, and it being that point in the season, we could potentially see the Drivers' Championship wrapped up today. Get those permutations to you as we get into the up session, but just know that it is really between Cas Rechtveld and Jan Wozniacki as we head into the ultimate race of the season. Yep, this is race 13 and race 14 next time out is the last one in Brazil. Drivers fighting their way to get the next couple of positions in the championship and see where they can end up. The qualifying session, and it is Jan Wozniacki on position right now, provisional pole position on a 1:31.751. It's actually on those soft compound tyres right now. The drivers have the super soft, the soft and the mediums, so he's on that middle compound, which means he can make a one-stop strategy work even more because the super softs are not the best tyre in the world. They're a little bit fragile, has to be said. Qualify on those soft compound tyres and get into the top 10, start on them. Much better time strategy, I should say, for this. And second place right now is Yuri Siravatsky. It's looking good today. TCS off, some 3/10 off Jan Wozniacki. So we will have a look at how Jan is finishing up this lap. Just need to do fairly well to be able to try and keep the championship alive from Cas Rechtveld. Obviously, he's had a pretty good season. Jan and only does a 82.3, so I'm not sure if he actually thought he was going to improve or whether he was just for fun of it. And yes, Jan Wozniacki is 23 points behind. So if Cas scores at least 2 points, sorry, if he scores 3 points, then that'll make it absolutely impossible for Jan to win the championship no matter what happens. And we're on with Vlad Tokarev, who's actually sitting down in about 50 championship. He's had a couple of good results. Got to say podium last time out, but apart from that, he's had a few DNFs and that sort of stuff. So a bit of a up and down season for him, and hopefully heading into 2020 on results more consistently. He's currently down in position. Racing team making their debut this season. So this is their first year, so to get a few podiums here and there, a couple of good results, isn't too bad. As Tokarev goes through this final section of corners. couple of left-handers to finish this anti-clockwise circuit. Up in 7th place on this lap, so just bear with me in moments like that because I am on my own, so to look at two different screens at once is not the easiest. And we now have James Zuba on the screen, the 105 car. He made his debut last time out in Suzuka for Drillers Esport. However, he ended up with a DNF there, so we're going to follow him through this lap to see if he can get a better result. They're letting him through nicely as he comes to this pretty blind apex. As you all know, it's very high up on the hill, off to the left as well, so it's difficult for drivers to see. They bomb it downhill over this little crest into these really, really fast corners. Sequence most drivers will absolutely love. So 7th and 8th gear down to 6th. Actually, a bit of lag there, but it seems like he's still going. He's got a couple of drivers ahead of him coming down into this hairpin, which is pretty crucial because, again, it's a really wide entry. That seems to be one of the main things about this track. Again, a really wide entry, and then he'll have the opportunity to open up the DRS. He comes down this slightly kinked back straight into one of the more technical parts of the track. Just a hairpin left, and then you've got these two hairpin corners, but they're really wide on the exit, so you sort of take it as a big, long thin corner rather than one tight one. To be a fairly decent lap by James at the moment. Just going to get up here 6 times yet. He's done a personal best in the first and the second sector, so it's just the final corner he's got to negotiate now. Drillers esports driver. He actually goes up to 2nd place with a purple final sector. Really nice that slap there by James Duber. It did look pretty stable. Drillers, obviously, since the summer break, sort of pushing themselves forward. Cynic has been up there quite a few times as well. Yeah, outlap for the moment, so we'll jump on board with Zolt Souks, who's had a few races here and there. It's sort of a bit like Vlad Tokarev, but not as extreme, where he's had some good races and some races as well. Comes to line, opening DRS. What does he do? Goes to 13th place, 32.6, which is actually slower than what Jan Wozdaka did softs, which just proves how quick the ACR cars can be. Drivers in this session, I'm sure you know by now, only have 4 flying laps basically. They've 12 laps, outlap and the inlap 4 times to make up your 12 laps. See, if you crash on a couple of laps, end up having time to do, say, a 5th attempt, then so be it. But Noah then goes to 15th place with that lap. A couple of personal bests in there as well, with Matt Tucson, who's also just coming around to finish his lap. 9th place currently for Matt Tucson. Goes up to 8th position at 32.3. Now your championship contender, Kasper Rietveld, can he win this time out? Find out in about an hour's time or so, but he goes up to P4 or with that lap. So that gets him a little bit closer to his rival Jan Woznaka. Siervatsky as he comes to the end of a pretty promising year so far. He is sitting in 5th place in the championship. He's had quite a few sort of top 6s and that sort of stuff. Always in the top 10 apart from a couple of DNFs. So it's consistency, and that is why it's up here today. And Wesley Putsev, he goes up to 2nd place. Nice lap there, 51.8. Still almost a 10th off Jan Wozdaka. Fine for him. And drivers are coming to where they're going to do their last laps of the session. We've got to go. A lot of drivers having done 9 of their 12 laps. They've got 1 attempt remaining, so San Mateo stays in 21st position. And we got a new driver here, Petar Palasek, who along with his teammate Sinak, they have both moved from the Papaya Boys team. They were sort of like both moved to TCS Off Racing. We'll have to see if sort of a bigger, slightly more established team some improved results, and so far Palasek is up to 6th place. Sinek down in 16th, and they both got points last time out, if I remember rightly, and that was on their own. So now in a big team, you expect them to get some better results, and now Sinek goes up to P4, blowing his engine there. See, the drivers have their boost mode, so that they will be using throughout the session. See, most drivers using, every driver should be using their boost throughout the whole of their flying lap, as that will give them the best opportunities. And I've got Ernest Lappins, who is returning. He's raced for he started the season with Drillers. He started the season with Drillers, and then he went to TCS Off for 1 race, and then he left, and now he is back again with his third team, Royal Blue. He did get, I think it was a 4th or 5th position in Canada, so he's definitely got the speed in him. He has been out of the game a little bit, so to say. It's gone up to 13th position. And that might be a decent place to start, because top 10 have to start on their qualifying tyres, which from of the drivers so far is the Super Softs. If he can start P10, 11, 12, that sort of position, but on the harder tyres, that will give you a better strategy, arguably, for the race. This driver's here today. It's doing a stop strategy, I assume. Now Vlad Tokarev coming around the line. Doesn't improve, stays in P9. So we're coming into the last minute of qualifying now. We're going to have up James Zhu, but currently P3 has done a quickest of anyone in the first sector, purple, and personal best in the middle sector as well. Jumper and on board him. As he comes around these final 2 corners. This is a really quick corner, turn 5. Got a nice little bit of run off after the curb to put your wheels on as well. And as he comes to line, where does he go? Stays P3. He did a purple in sector 1 and 3, but lost all that time in sector 2, which means he's now 1.5 tenths off pole position. So we will turn our attention to Jan Woznica. Really needs to win this race, and hope that Cas Rietveld has some major issues to put him in contention for an outside chance of winning the championship next time out. He's done a personal best in the first sector so far, and it seems Siravatsky has gone over his lap count, so he won't be doing any more laps. So is Henry Sinek and Palasek as well. Actually, Cas Rietveld is further up the road, so we will see what he can do first of all. Got a championship leader as he is further down the road. Who's also on personal best. Oh, and he goes really wide, so that is over for him. So he's going to be best placed 5th, so we'll jump back on board with his championship rival, Jan Woznica, who gets through that corner much better. Coming into the final corner, I should say. Opens up the DRS. Where can he put himself? goes to pole position. I think he improved by a couple of hundredths there. Some other drivers further down as well. Got Matt Tewson on a lap in 8th position. Is anyone else coming to finish lap? We've got Alex Hallows, his teammate. Grab a look at first. He's coming line. Does he improve from 28th position? No, he doesn't. And behind him is Andrei Borotovsky. Goes really wide there. That is a cut track, so this will not count if seen by the stewards, but he goes to 15th place with that lap. Now we've got Dan over Brantholm. Just ahead of him is Matt Tewson, so we'll see what Matt Tewson can do first. Someone crashes ahead of him just there. Does it Matt Tewson improve? Stays in 8th. Jump on board with Brantholm, who's the last person to cross the line. It goes into 16th place. But is there someone else still on lap? Says Alexi has actually finished, so I think this is just an in lap for him. So your pole position for today is Jan Woznicka, followed by Yuri Siravatsky, James Zuber, Henry Sinek, Cass Rietveld, or top 5. We'll go to a short break, and then when we come back, we'll discuss the championship permutations and what needs to happen for Rietveld to win the championship. See you.
Racing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, I mean, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
So I have a hand.
welcome back to round number 13 of the SimRacing Academy Championship. The drivers are just doing a up session now, and in a moment we will have a look at who is doing what times and such. However, we will quickly look at the championship tables. Unfortunately, the website went down, so I can't actually physically show you. However, I do have a picture of what it was from before, and basically Cas Rietveld is 23 points in the lead. It's in the pit lane. What that was all about, but yes, he has 23 points in the lead of Jan Wozniacki, and just time for you. So he actually has less wins than Jan Wozniacki. He's only had 3, where Jan has had 4, meaning he needs to come P13 to make sure he has enough points over Jan Wozniacki. So even on countback, Jan won't be able to take it on a number of wins. So Jan needs to win the race, and pretty much that's all he can hope for, because second place is 20 points, not gained back enough even Cas DNFs. So Jan straight up has to win the race no matter what, down to see what Cas can do, whether he can get in or stay in the points. As we saw in the last couple of races, he's had a couple of bad races. 9th last time out in Suzuka. He had a DNF in Singapore as well. If I remember back to Silverstone or Hockenheim, those 2 races in the midpoint of the season, has also had a sort of a struggling race, whereas Jan has, when he's finished properly, it's been P1 or 2. He's had 1 P6, a 15th and a 13th as well. So apart from a couple of races, he's just always been there. However, Cas with that 1 less bad result, leading the way. And for 3rd place in the drivers, Tom Lombards is 51.5 points behind Jan Wozniacki. So Jan is clear for 2nd place in the in the drivers. And then for 3rd place, we've got Tom Lombards on 102 points, Henry Sinek on 90 points, and Yuri Siravatsky on 87.5. There's only about 15 points covering those 3 drivers, and any of those 3 can get to 3rd place, but we will have to check that as the race goes on. And this man, James Zuber, we need to see what he can do, because that was decent qualifying by him. Bad at all, considering he hasn't done too many races in FSR. This is only his 2nd outing. He is in a good team. Drillers are really fighting back in this second half of the season. Getting up the qualifying results. So yeah, Siravatsky in 2nd, Zuber in 3rd, Henry Sinek in 4th. So those 3 are going to really put the spanner in the works for Cas Rietveld, because Cas doesn't need to overtake them per se, but these 3 are obviously going to be fighting for a win. They're going to be fighting for positions, because they still want to get good positions. They don't, in the nicest way possible, they don't care about the championship such, because actually Tom Lombards isn't here, is he? Tom Lombards has not attended, which means Henry Sinek needs at least 12 points to take away 2nd in the championship, and that could quite pivotal in that battle. So Yuri Siravatsky will also be fighting to try and make up those points. He needs 14.5, so let's say 15 points to be able to get ahead of Tom Lombards as well. And then those 3 will be really close heading into Brazil in 2 weeks' time. The practice, or the warm-up session, I'd say, is actually Vlad Tokarev, who is fastest. Just coming out one final attempt with Kasperveld, as the Goat Speed goes past him as well. And unsurprisingly, some of the top times in the session were on the super softs, and you can see on the left underneath there's a lot of softs, and so the most drivers are in the pit lane now as we have finished the warm-up session and we're to the race session where we'll find out, is Kasperveld going to win the championship? Is Jan Wozniak going to stop him? So it is mostly Cass's to lose, however, because he's in 5th position. He only needs 3 points, which would be 13th position. So he, a normal race, he can win this. As we saw last year, Ace Championship won at the Circuit of the Americas as well. So see if he can do that as well. To move session, Wilson and Riveld having a little bit of a battle here. Cars glitch around as we move session. An wonderful rFactor announcement, giving us a nice little pep talk. Always does. But now we have Jan Wozniak on pole. This is really his moment, because if he just goes out and wins the race, that is the best he can do. He did bottle it a little bit in Singapore, where he blew his engine after Cass had already DNF'd. Let's have a look. And there was obviously a grid penalty in there for someone, as Rietveld has moved up to position. Oh, it is James Zuber. That's who it was. Had a seemingly 15th place grid penalty. I'd forgotten about, but he is now down in 17th place. But the important thing is he is on the super soft tyres, 17th place, because obviously top 10 have to start where they qualified on, but there's the top 10 in qualifying to make it fair for the starting P11. They don't have to just get moved up to the top 10. Is it? So he's on the super soft tyres, so he's going to have to make his way through or do some sort of undercut, something like that. He will be wasting extra speed. But let's run you through the grid. So we've got Jan Wozniak, followed by Yuri Siravatsky, TCS off in 2nd place, and Henry Sinnick, your winner in Singapore. Kasperveld, we are looking for potentially winning the championship today. Petar Alazek, 5th place, now moved to TCS off. Got Luke Shack, 6th place, Matt Tucson in 7th. Vlad Tokarev in 8th, Danny Robbins in Dan Rajkovic in 10th. Alfie Lawrenson, your winner this time out, in Suzuka, actually down in 11th place, but that 11th place is good because he's starting on those tyres and he has Milan ahead of him on the alternate strategy. Watch out for Alfie, looking good towards the end of this race. Ernest Lappins on the soft tyres in 12th. Zolt Sooks in 13th. Andrei Borotovsky 14th. Danov Brantholm 15th. Noah Rivers, James Zuber, Patrick Rusinik, Michael Wilson, Greg Remitz, Mike Almeida, George Chatsipantelis, Martin Antol, Marco Ferlich, Sebastian Parmazed, Alexi Maizin, Alex Hallows, Miguel San Mateo, and then from the pit lane we have Balaz Galear and Joey Frolic. We'll return to the front of the grid now to look at Jan Wozniak as he comes through the grid boxes to get ready to see if he can hold on to this pole position. Despite him having the racing line, you can obviously send it up the inside if the leader isn't too defensive. So Yuri Sieradzki will be seeing what he can do. Now I'll wait for the lights to come on to start the 13th race of the season. Here they come. And it's lights out and away we go. And yes, Yuri Sieradzki has got a really good start. I hear some crashes in the background. Someone has not got a front wing, and that is one of the ground effect cars. But Jan Woznike leads, and Kaz Rieveld has managed to get past Henry Sinek as well. This back of the field seems pretty good. See if Kaz can hold on to this third position. Yes, he can from Henry Sinek. And now fly through his fast S's section. Try and keep up with what's happening in the midfield as well. It seems they're fairly stable. Matsusen there in 8th place. James Zuber has got up to 14th place. He's already gained 3 positions on those super soft tyres. Just ahead of him seems Ernest Lappins is making a move, trying to make a move anyway, on Danny Robbins, but the front lot seem very good. And there's a spinner down in the background. I think that was Andrei Borotovsky, who was in quite high, but he's now just reversed into his teammate, so that has not ended very well. I'll try and get a replay of that later on. But as we come into this stadium section, it is Jan Woznike leading the way from Sieradzki and Henry Sinek as well. And this is a nice little section to get a good shot of all the cars. Oh, we got Matt Tusen, I think, that fighting with Palazek to come around this really long right-hander. But it seems that Matt Tusen hasn't made that position. They're still in 8th place for now, which is good. The one thing to note is that these super soft tyre runners were really be hurting even after about 5 laps or so. With James Zuber, who's now got up to 13th place as well, and he's going to be looking down the inside of Zolt Souks, obviously on these super soft tyres, but he's still making that work. Potentially he's going to be having a look at Dano Brentholm in front of him as the race progresses. It seems that we've got a couple of people in the pits, Noah Rovers and Milan Rajkovic, and also Andrei Borotovsky. Back to the front to see Jan Woznike. Hasn't really pulled a gap so far, so this is good. So we've got a close little pack, at least in the top 5 or 6. Before we go down to Petr Palazek, who's dropping off a tiny bit. And is that Sieradzki thinking about it? Just opening up the into the wing mirrors of Jan Woznike, just to say hello. I'm still here. Don't you worry. Top 4 starting to get a tiny bit of a gap to Danny Robbins. It's actually doing a pretty good race, I'd say. It's not always right at the top. The Royal Blue cars certainly having a good first half of the season. Unfortunately, some of the drivers, such as Vladislav Pavlov, haven't been in attendance for a couple of races. Oh, Kaz Rieveld has a big slide there coming into the final corner. That is not going to be good for his rear tyres or his position that he is in. If you remember, he just needs to finish P13 or higher. He's obviously going to want to get the best result he can and probably be on the podium as he wins, or as he potentially wins the championship. But he will do if he finishes on the podium, no matter what Jan does. But he manages to recover and keep that position. Seeing if I can get a replay of Andrei Borotovsky on the first laps. This is a replay you're watching coming down into the hairpin. This is where he was around, but not sure why. It looks like he's going to get a bit of a tag there from the NRWO car. Then unfortunately he just reverses into his teammate. Didn't really have anywhere to go. Back to the front and see what is happening up here. There's a bit of a gap forming here in front of Kasriva, so Siravatsky is getting away a tiny bit, but Cass is actually catching up again in his section, and DRS will now be available. And they move on to this back straight, where they will be getting DRS. It's actually quite a long DRS zone for the majority of the straight, and this will give Siravatsky a good chance to go down the inside, but he doesn't brake late enough. Jan Wozzika brakes later than him, which is to make stick in first place. Now Henry Sinek is actually looking to get up. Srivel actually lost a momentum there. Now Cassie, yeah, he's not the best out of this final corner. Henry Sinek is going to have a look, but this time with DRS. And he's going to go to the outside this time. He went to the inside. Cass defends on both occasions, and Yuri is still very, very close to Jan Wozzika as well. And one thing about Jan Wozzika is I've just been informed that my maths was actually incorrect. Cass doesn't need 3 points. He needs 3 more points than which was a good spot from spectators. Thank you. Actually needs 3 more points than Jan, so he does actually need to beat him. At the moment, it is gaining about 7 points, which means the gap will be in the region of 16 points going into the final race of the season. Apologies for my bad math. So yeah, Cass actually needs to beat Jan Wozzika to make it happen, and that actually changes the game a little bit for Cass. As I slightly miscalculated the results there, but it's all good. Know that Cass needs to finish ahead of Jan Wozzika to make it count. So if Jan wins the race, there's nothing that Cass can do anyway. So Jan will be keeping it going until the final race. So let's have a look a bit further down. So James Zuba is now on the back of Matt Tucson. So Zuba has made his way to the back of the Supersoft runners. Vlad Tokarev is the first one to pit at the end of lap 6. Actually, they've just started lap 6, haven't they? So that was the end of lap 5, actually. That's Henry Sinek now side by side with Kaz Freebirds. So Kaz must have had a bad exit out of the final corner again, and this time I think Henry Sinek is going to make it work. But Kaz is going to hold it, try and hold it, but couldn't quite make it work. So that is a good move there from Henry Sinek, your race winner 2 times ago. And just behind them is Alfie Lawrenson on the medium compound tyres. We've somehow missed him, making his way up from 11th place on the grid to 5th place, and he's on these medium tyres. If he can keep this pace going, he is in a really good position to win this race later on, because he will obviously take the super softs or the softs at the end of the race when everyone else is on the mediums. So then he will have a bit of an advantage there. It's already onto the back of Cass Reeford. So yeah, unfortunately we miss him going through the field, but he is certainly in a good position now, such as Tucson and Zuba, who are super soft compound. And as we know throughout the season, the medium tyre is very durable. And the main thing really is that it's consistent. It's consistent throughout a whole 20 or 25 lap stint. And Henry Sinnick is now side by side with Yuri Siravatsky up the inside of the final corner, which is not a place you normally see. But he also gets the DRS, so he should be able to take this P2 as well. Henry Sinnick, the one making moves in the opening part of this race. So Siravatsky down to third position now. Need to see what he can do. This fighting has given Jan Osaka a bit of a lead, 1.2, 1.1 seconds, somewhere in the region. I'm still a bit surprised by Alfie Lawrenson being able to get on the back of these cars, just showing the pace that he and those mediums can show. We've seen this a number of times where the alternate strategy can be very, very powerful indeed. And Alfie actually goes way out of the slipstream there. Probably, I don't know if he's trying to not overtake and just sit there, maybe save a bit of fuel. I've seen someone ask how Alfie is on the mediums. Well, he started in P11, I believe, which means he was outside of the top 10 and he had free choice of tyres, and he's obviously worked his way up past a few of these drivers on the softer compounds. Will anyone pit? Or Casrivel goes wide there. No one pits this time round, so they're obviously staying out a bit longer to try and make it work. It's such a short race, you really want to try and do a one-stop strategy. But you don't really have enough time to make up a pit stop. So even though your lap times over the whole race are quicker on a two-stop strategy, won't gain enough time back from second stop. So let's have a look down towards the back of the race. We've got Petr Palazek in 13th behind, in front of Michael Wooston. Got Sebastian Parmazed for the final point. Snick and San Mateo as well. Just outside your top 10, we got Danov Brandholm and Zolt Sooks. Midfield, we got Matt Tucson, although just behind them, James Zuber is having to defend from Luxak, as maybe those super soft tyres are starting to drop off a little bit. We'll have to see what Alfie can do now that he has probably a tyre advantage by this point, because the medium's been so consistent. Will probably be slightly quicker than the super soft now that we've done a few laps of this race. And will anyone take the opportunity to pit? Don't. So they continue again. Obviously, those mediums aren't destructible, but they're obviously fairly durable. So let's go as long as you can, so your medium stint is at the perfect length. Down to Mike. I made it in 13th position, the sole Breslin car in the race. Has he just blown his engine? The second Mike, what are you doing? The second I click on you and you DNF from the race. That is highly coincidental, but yeah, that's unfortunate for Mike Almeida. I don't know why I decided to click on him then, but I did, and yeah, he went off with an engine failure, so he's out of the race. And talking about going off, Henry Sinnick just gone off the circuit. He's remaining in P2 for now. We're on lap 9. So we've got 25 laps to go. after this lap, which is, I'd say, probably the limit that people want to go on mediums for now. So they'll go a couple more laps to make it a bit easier. Now Henry's not really challenging Jan too much. He was in a DRS for those couple of laps, but with that mistake he's now right on the back. Sorry, he's now got on his back Siravatsky instead. And on the back of this, Ernest Lappins and Matthew Tewson have actually caught up to the back of this little train that's forming. So I think his tyres, super softs anyway, are starting to go off a little bit. As they just work their way around to make a move to the hairpin on this occasion. Though Siravatsky actually makes a bit of a mistake there, and Cas Reveld is going to use that opportunity to go past, and this might give Alfie Lawrenson a go. Even Ernest Lappins down into the left-handed hairpin, but he hasn't quite made that work. Alfie Lawrenson is now down, so up to 4th place. Siravatsky down to 5th place. And I think Siravatsky might pit this lap. As he does, along with one of the drillers' cars. Who was that? That was Henry Sinnick, who has come into the pit lane. So he is obviously trying to get some sort of undercut on Jan Wozniacki, and this might actually work, judging by how the can be. Get on pace straight away. What has Henry taken? Let's get on board. Yeah, so mediums as expected. So this should be a 2-stop strategy. Talk about a 1-stop strategy for Henry Sinnick. But where does he rejoin? 15th place, and an overheating engine as well. I do hope that is just overheating and not the same engine issues that we saw with Mike Almeida. But it seems like he's good for now. So it's probably just overheating because he was sat still in the pit box. So Wozniacki now has a 2.5 second lead. And Cas Reveld is being hounded a little bit by Alfie, showing his mirrors, but nothing too crazy. A red car there. Is that Michael Wilson? Has he just crashed? Let's scroll through the replays. Yeah, he's got no front wing. Let's have a look at what he did here. Coming through the S's. There's a replay of about 10 seconds ago. Things happening. I assume it's going to be on the exit of this corner. Oh yes, just lost the rear end. Hit the wall, and that is his front wing on. So he's going to have to make a pit stop for a front wing. But we see Cas Reveld come in. Medium tyres, I would expect. As well as Matt Tewson coming in as well. But where is Sinnick? Because obviously they were next to each other in the on track. So let's have a look at Henry. He's going to be overtaking a TCS car, but where is Cas? There is Cas. Henry keeps in front of Cas. Cas actually possibly overall gained a tiny bit of time there. That's good on him. But Jan Wozniacki has stayed out, which is crazy. Usually Jan has worse tyre wear. He usually has to make the longest longer stints on the harder tyres, which generally loses him out at the end of the race and the stints. Today he is keeping those tyres going, and he is the last person on the track on those super soft tyres. Niro Siravatsky has come out just behind James Zuber, but he is he's got caught up a little bit with when he had to pit. But James Zuber actually dives it down the inside. He's going to get both cars. That is a fairly nice move. And Matt Tucson even gets Yuri Sieravatsky. Though Sieravatsky defends well into the next corner. Tucson's going to keep it. Yes, he is. To not make contact with the rFactor car. And they're still side by side. They've been going on for quite a few corners now. No, that is not going to work around the outside of that corner. So that is Matt Tucson still in 17th place. Jan Woznica still hasn't made a stop. I am very surprised by this, but fair play if he can do it and he can get the tyres that distance. But now Casrivel going down the inside of Henry Sinnick into turn number 1. Now side by side around turn 2. There's been a massive crash behind, I've heard. That is Marco Felix. Marco Felix has lost a front wing. Just play it down the inside goes the TCS car. So how's Marco lost his front wing? Oh, he spins in front of him. It's unfortunate. Joe Vrolik. Oh, Joe Vrolik has spun. Joe Vrolik has spun and he has taken out Yuri Sieravatsky. Wow, Yuri Sieravatsky has not been the race for him. Let's be careful with his rejoin, but it's really not been the race for him at all, has it? So just ahead of Casrivel, we've got Indrek Remit still out on those medium tyres. Just getting overtaken now by Cass. What a little bit naughty actually, because Henry Sinnick has just been able to get past as well. That's a very aggressive move there by Casrivel. Made some contact, but just ahead of him is San Mateo. Sebastian Palmzad, who have not stopped, but these guys will be holding up Casrivel and Henry Sinnick in a moment. And Woznica now comes into the pit lane, onto the medium tyres. Where is Cass? Where is Cass? I think Jan is going to keep this, but we cannot even see it. So Jan is around turn 1. And what is Cass? Wow, Cass just came out of nowhere onto Sebastian. And he's going to go around the outside. So this is really good work through the traffic by Cass. And I think Seb just gives up the position to Henry Sinnick there, being teammates. But yeah, Jan has made this work. He's not got stuck in traffic, and he has 2 or 3 laps fresher tyres as well. So this puts Jan in a very good place to win this race. Although we still don't know what Alfie Lawrenson is going to do exactly, where he is going to come out. Cass has got Henry Sinnick right on the back of him now. We'll have DRS and slipstream from the Royal Blue car. And Henry going to go down the inside of both of them? He's going to try it, but Cass keeps it around the outside. And that was a very close from all of them. But they managed to keep it clean. And there's a little battle here for the lower points. We've got Rusnik and Ernest Lapins going side by side for a little bit, but nothing on this occasion. And we look down to as Zuba comes in the pit, and now we got Rusnik side by side with Ernest Lapins again. There's drillers of Sebastian Palmzad getting involved there as well. So we're going to go almost 3 wide into turn number 1, but Lapins is going to keep that place. Actually, James Zuba, sorry, not Palmzad. So looking who is still out, we've got Alfie Lawrenson, who is in the lead. He's about 18 seconds ahead of Jan Woznica. So if he can put in some good times, then he can undercut. This might still work for Alfie Lawrenson because he's going to be very quick at the end of the race. Just behind him is Zolt Sooks. Netrex still out on those medium tyres as well, but he's not quite as far up the road. He's 12 seconds behind, so it's probably not going to be for significant points, but still in some position. And then we have and Woznica in of this race. Cass Rietveld and Henry Sinnick behind. So it seems like it's really between Woznica, Rietveld, Sinnick, and maybe Lawrenson as well. Henry's getting close here, but not quite close enough to make any sort of work. Just behind them, we've got this big battle for the remaining points position as well in the midfield. I think San Mateo is holding these guys up a little bit. He's obviously still out on those tyres. Uber trying to get involved as well. Remits. Slappins as well. So Zuba's got to think about going down the inside of the hairpin here. Sears sends it down the inside. Should still get the DRS, so should be able to defend here. Now Ernest Lappins is having a tackle, although I've just seen Henry Sinnick try to get past Cass Rietveld, but he has not made it work on this occasion. Grab a replay as they went down the start-finish straight. It's going to be just a simple DRS move, I assume. But he's going to probably outbrake himself, which means Cass Rietveld could get it back. They are still in his positions currently for 4th and 5th. And this fighting is actually just letting Jan get away a bit, so unless Henry really thinks he's quicker, he should probably just sit behind Cass for a couple laps, wait to see what happens. And I think Alfie Lawrenson is going to come out Sinnick in that gap. He is going to be there in 4th place because behind Sinnick, unfortunately we had to cut away from the battle, but I think San Mateo took to the pit lane or something like that. Just got overtaken by all these guys. Ernest Lappins now has a bit of a gap to, sorry, Uber has a bit of a gap to Sinnick, and then Ernest Lappins is following him. Well, I think San Mateo just got overtaken by all of these cars ahead of him. See what Sinnick could do on this time around. But can he get the it's working this time? Yes, he can. This is a Sinnick. This could be crucial for Cass Rietveld. Cass needs to outscore Jan to win the championship today. So at the moment, doesn't look like that is going to happen. And we got a white car off. Is that going to be Alexi Mine? So Alexi has lost his front wing. He was battling a couple of cars. That is Gravatsky and Felix. He was battling with coming into to the S's section, and he just loses it on his own. Just loses it on his own. Hits the wall. And him. Cass is now just trying to keep up with Henry Sinnick, trying not to lose any more time. Go back to the battle behind Patrick Rusinik. Certainly impressing on only his his third race. Started in Singapore. Suzuka and hit. Doing a good effort in 8th place at the moment. Is Cass going to come back? Not on this occasion. He's just pulled out just to be like, hey, I'm still here. Quite so easy. At the mini map, Jan is getting quite close to Adult Sooks. So for Sooks, this is Alexi on the left wing. For Sooks and even Lawrenson, they are being undercut here. But they don't have any option but to stay out and try and make the strategy work. And this is assuming Jan is going to make it to the end tyres, but he did pit the latest, so that should be absolutely fine. Verstappen's trying to stay with James Zuber as they focus on getting towards the front. Oh, a brilliant battle down here for like 10th position. Cars here. So close just at this moment in time, so we'll focus on the likes of Jan Wozka, now on the back of Zalt Soeks. And this isn't necessarily crucial for Jan. It's certainly for all the time that he can gain on Alfie before Alfie makes his pit stop. Alfie just needs to gain even more time once he goes onto those faster tyres at the end of the race. Wozniak is making this work at this moment in time. He's already about 3 to 4 seconds on St. over. Him up second place, but Soeks can't really do anything. If he pits now, he'll probably have to take the soft compound tyres. Whether he might make the super soft work. Speed difference. Cass is staying with Henry, to be honest. Certainly making it work. At a moment in time, sitting behind it, but then he needs to finish ahead of Jan, which he is not currently doing. Going to be catching up to Zalt Soeks very shortly, actually, as well. To Cynic. A little bit by Soeks, and Soeks, yeah, he's look at the difference in exit speed there. Wow, Soeks has definitely got to the end of his tyres, and I don't know why Henry doesn't need to get involved. He's easily going to get past down this straight, although Cass is going to be right on it. He's going to have DRS. He's going to have almost a double slipstream here. I don't know if he's going to be using a bit of the boost mode as well. He's going to go in the middle. Both get past Zalt Soeks. Just about manages to stop it. Will Cass switch to the right. Try and deafen out. So I don't think it's too overly overtaking at this moment in time. Could have sent one down the inside like he did on a couple of the back markers a few laps ago. Spoken about today's George Chatsi-Pantelis just come up that he's battling here with Vlad Tokarev. Bit of contact from the two. George locking up completely his inside tyre. You can see Zalt Soeks had gone into the pit lane. So he's probably going to have to take the soft compound tyres. So he's still going to have an advantage of some sort, just not quite the same. Yeah, he's got soft tyres on there. It's going to come down in the points, just about 13th place. Alfie has made a pit stop as well. I thought I saw Driller's car ahead, but it was Alfie Lawrenson has come onto these soft tyres. But because the cars are actually pretty close behind Rietveld and Cynic, they caught up a little bit, so the gap wasn't so big, and he's now into 6th place. So he's going to need to overtake a number of cars. With the race still having 13 laps to go at the end of this one, it's not going to be the easiest to have a tyre advantage for the whole of this stint. So before them are fairly consistent. So I think everyone's tyres will be going off towards the end, not pushing it too hard. As we have seen a number of times in the Academy, even their race is slightly shorter than the Pro race happening shortly after this one. The Pro race is 20% longer. They generally do the same strategy, but the Academy guys generally wear their tyres the same amount, but in less laps. What we generally see is drivers. And Katsurivel's still behind Henry. It seems potentially the Driller's car has a tiny bit top speed. I think Cass is just about close enough to try and make it take work. It's coming to back to Alfie Lawrenson, because he's really the main person that we can focus on for now, and seeing how much get through his cars ahead. I'm sure his teammate James Zuber won't make it too difficult. He's quite in DRS. No, it's not yet anyway. Yeah, James Zuber's made his pit stop as well, because he's on a slightly, arguably worse strategy. I'm sure he's not going to make it too difficult when Alfie Lawrenson finally does get the DRS, which he should do now, depending on how the Delta is on 9 now, and the detection's about to that corner. So I expect him to have the DRS as we come around this corner. Yeah, he's very close, and he does on this occasion. How close is Kastrieveld? Quite enough to have a look again this time. So to run you down, Jan Wozniacka is leading this race, keeping his championship hopes going until Brazil at this current rate. And then behind him is Henry Sinek and Kastrieveld. So we've been next to each other the whole race, but they swapped about 10 laps ago or so. Behind them is James Zuber and Alfie Lawrenson, 2 Drillers cars. So Drillers have got 3 cars in the top 5, being the only proper team to challenge the ACR ISIM-RS cars. And I think going to make them here. There's no reason for James to fight it. Just be holding his teammate up. So yeah, it's through. So now, how quickly can he catch onto the back of Kastrieveld? That is the next step, because if he can get involved with Cass, then I think that's basically a game over for Cass in terms of winning the championship today. He's not just about visible there on the rear view camera. Seemingly it's just going to be Alfie Lawrenson who's going to probably make a move work between Cass in the next few laps. Lap 34 today. Have a look at the last lap. So last lap, Alfie was 1.3 seconds quicker than Kastrieveld. 1.3 seconds, so he's definitely got the pace advantage. And if Cass starts battling Henry, which he is going to, he's going to go left or right, left or right. He goes to the left, so he'll have the inside. But Henry brakes really late. Cass manages to keep place. Now Cass back into second place. Are these Henry's tyres starting to go off a little bit? Who knows? We'll have to see over the sort of the next couple of laps. But Cass has been making a couple of mistakes in this final sector over the course of the race, so we'll have to see if he does any of that. She looks like he's gapping Sinek a little bit here. Probably just about have DRS, but who knows? Let's see. Yes, he does. But Alfie getting closer and closer, and I'll be surprised if Alfie doesn't overtake. Cynic's locked up. It's all squirrely, so yeah, Alfie's definitely going to overtake on this lap. I would be surprised if their team manager, Joey, isn't saying anything about this, because I know Cynic wants to get as many points to get third in the championship, but Alfie could potentially win this race. Cynic seems like he does not have that opportunity anymore. Has got a 5.5 second lead now ahead of Cass though. Still quite a way to go. If he can get past Henry here, nice easy move, and then focus on getting towards Cass. Cynic just keeping far to the left, far to the driver's right, and is making that work. So now Alfie is up to third position. 2 cars to catch. But his tyres will start to go off as well at some point. I have this pace advantage forever. Last time, Jan was actually the slowest, apart from Henry Cynic, top 5. So Jan isn't they're just screaming off into the distance. How much are we taking on this lap? So Alfie Lawrenson has done a 35.5, fastest lap of the race, half a second quicker than Cass, 0.7 quicker than Jan Wozniaker. However, Jan and Cass did personal best sector 2, sector 3 on that lap. Alfie with that purple sector is definitely closing in. And your winner last time out is looking to get a second on the bounce. He really needs to try and... It's probably going to be a long shot because he's not going to have DRS this lap. But he needs to focus on getting Cass next time around. And he will have 7 or 8 laps to focus on chasing down Jan. It's going to be difficult. Might be a last lap sort of win it or bin it situation, but at least Cass turn 1 the opportunity. Further down, so we've got James Zuber in 5th place, still holding out. Got Ernest Lappins and Matt Tewson. Luke Sack. I haven't been keeping up with him. It says he has made a pit stop actually, so he has made a pit stop in place. That is very good. So Royal Blue coming back. A couple good races in 6th, 8th. We've got Grand Effect. And then 11 is Suk, so he hasn't quite made the strategy work the same as Lawrenson has. It's got a little colour to say that Alfie Lawrenson is catching Cass Rietveld, and yes, it's going to be close enough to at least attempt an overtake. Coming down the DRS zone. He has a little bit of time there through that chicane. They should still have the DRS. It's going to try and make it work. A little bit far away, but he might use a tiny bit of the quality boost as well. He really needs to get past this lap. Cass isn't really fighting it because he knows he needs Alfie to go and win the race and possibly cause issues for Dan, that Cass can try and finish ahead of him to win this championship here today. See what Alfie can do on the timing sheet. He obviously had DRS on that lap, which will help. Is he 0.8 quicker than his leader Snicker, but he's got 6 seconds to get. 7 laps to go here in Circuit of the Americas. So Alfie has pulled away from Cass Reveld. Has Cass got DRS? Yes, he's still just about got DRS. But the gap has already come down a fair amount, although they fluctuate a little bit. And it seems that Cass's push for the lead hasn't quite worked, but we now have Ernest Lappins on the back of James Zuber. Is for 5th place. I think James pit before Ernest, if I'm not mistaken, because Ernest started on the soft tyres, started on super soft, which could give tyre advantage towards the end of this race. So how much was faster? Faster was Alfie Lawrenson on that last lap. Let's have a look. It's only 4/10. That is not quite enough. Alfie Lawrenson needs to be making up even more time than that. Yeah, if he wants to move. A Cynic, I mean, Cynic's into the 37s now. He's dropped right off the pace. I think he has unfortunately destroyed his tyres. Still has quite a few laps left to go. Turn our attention to Alfie Lawrenson and see what he... And we've got a battle here. James Duber and Ernest Lappins going side by side. Lappins obviously got side by side through with the DRS. Although James sends it back, but doesn't quite. Yeah, he does keep his nose in there, which is going to cause Ernest to get a bit of a worse exit. But you just can't follow that closely in a fast corner like that. That is the move by Ernest Lappins. Back to the timesheet. And Alfie got 8/10 on that lap. Personal best in sector 2 and 3 again. That gap is coming down. See on the map, circle purple ring is Jan Woznica, and you can see orange of Slappins behind. So you can follow that along. They are not on camera, and you can see that Jan is getting a bit of, or will be soon getting a bit of lag situations. Might be able to get a bit of DRS in that as well. Visibly close enough. Turn our attention to Matt Tewson, getting very close. It'll be a bit difficult because Zuber has DRS as well. But Matt going to the inside. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Just about left enough room for James. But that is racing there by Tewson to get himself up into 6th place. It's actually been a pretty decent race so far from Matt Tewson. He hasn't really had the best season, considering apart from Tom Lombards, he was the highest place person if you look at the 2018 results to enter the 2019 season. So you would think he would be fighting at the front with Tom Lombards, but unfortunately he hasn't quite been there. He hasn't quite had the same Sir Thomas had at times. Obviously Tom won the Belgium Grand Prix, almost won last time out in Suzuka if he didn't press his pit limiter. Last lap, it's 6/10 for Alfie Lawrenson. So 4 laps to go. So yeah, it's not quite enough for Alfie. As the tyres really start to go off for Jan. Alfie's now pulled away from Cass quite a bit. And Cass has pulled away from Henry, dropping back into this battle with Ernest and Matthew Tewson. So Henry might actually be losing P4 here in a couple of laps' time, to manage his tyres towards the end. This is a good opportunity for him to gain on Siravatsky and Lombards. Siravatsky's in the points. Only 2.5 points ahead of Fury. But Tom Lombards was, we check, 12 points behind Tom Lombards. So he wants to get as many points as possible. They can have a good duel for third in the championship in Brazil in 2 weeks' time. Check again. Alfie was actually 4/10 slower, so Alfie made a mistake somewhere on that last lap. He was 4/10 slower than Jan Woznica, unless this is just the phase that his tyres have gone off. You can see the gap is over 5 seconds now. Jan Woznica has a bit of breathing space. This is kind of one thing that I assumed would happen. His tyres would die just before he could quite reach Jan Woznica. However, Jan he's got some traffic and whatnot. He does get DRS from that, obviously, as well, because DRS is for any car. That is ahead of you by 1 second. Matt Tewson is getting close to Ernest Lappins, who is also close to Henry Sinek, and Henry's actually having to defend a tiny bit. Ernest just has a little wave, say hi to Henry. Sure, 2 laps to go at the end of this one. He's going to be right on the tail toward the end of this race. Yeah, I think Alfie's tyres are done. He's 7 seconds off the lead now. In Sector 3, it does fluctuate quite a lot, the delta, so just wait till he comes across the timing beam to see what it actually is. That was... Wow, he was 1.2 seconds slower on this lap, so yet Alfie's tyres are finished, fortunately. And I think this is going to be a nice win for Jan Woznica, but we now have Ernest Lappins going around the outside of Henry Sinek. Might get around the outside though. Couldn't get it, so Ernest is going to have to follow through end of Sector 1 through these high-speed S's, which are really some of the better corners that we have on the calendar. It's so nice to drive these, and it gets a bit more technical and twisty. Get towards the end of it. See, they do as they come penultimate time onto this back straight. So I only have one more occasion after this, and I think Tewson might actually be a little bit closer to Lappins than Lappins is to Sinek. But with the slipstream, and that looks like a bit of quali boost as well for Ernest Lappins. He's going to try and go around the outside. Sinek, we know, has been good on brakes into this corner. Tewson's actually going to send it down the inside as well. Very opportunistic by Matt Tewson. Can he keep it? He's probably going to have better traction, and yes, he does. Henry Sinek loses 2 positions here. Goes down to 6th place. And this is not best for him with his battle for 3rd in the championship with Tom Lombards. On to the final lap of the race. Alfie Lawrenson was another 1.4 seconds slower. So Jan has some stuff left in his tyres, but I think Cass's tyres are dropping off as well because he can't seem to get past. But as Matt Tewson, have a look. We're going to have to wait back straight to see if Matt Tewson can actually get 4th place. And Henry spins. Henry spins in the background, so his rear tyres are absolutely done. His rear tyres are absolutely done. He's going to go down to 8th place, and at this point, he might not even get enough points to overtake Tom Lombards ahead of him in the championship. So that is not the best from the Estonian driver. It's actually killed his tyres, it seems, as well as Alfie Lawrenson. So maybe Driller's not having the best tyre management setup, but they're certainly quick enough. And is Matt Tucson now going to get Ernest Lappens for 4th place? So one of Tucson's best ever finishes if he can get this 4th place from Ernest Lappens. Seems like he's got a bit higher wing. He's going to have to go down the inside and brake late. And he's... Oh, Ernest has just, well, not left enough room there. That was a really cheeky. But we are going to have to turn our attention to Jan Wozniacka, who is coming around the final corner on the last lap to take victory here at the United States Grand Prix. And he's keeping his championship hopes alive for another race. So we'll have to see what he can do next time out. And Alfie Lawrenson comes home in a good 2nd place on that alternate strategy, making it work. Cas Rietveld doesn't win the championship today. He will have a decent lead going into the next race. And now, has Matt Tucson managed to get Ernest Lappens? No, he has not. Ernest Lappens will get 4th place. Matt Tucson in 5th. Still a good race from those 2 drivers. Then Luke Zach with his career in 6th place. James Zuber in 7th place. Actually overtook Henry Sinek on that last lap with Henry spinning. Vlad Tokarev in 9th. Zoltsuks in 10th. Brent Holm in 11th. Halasek, both Derek Remitz in 13th place. Those super soft tyres with alternate strategy. And Rusinik is right behind him, but don't think a move to the final corner. Rusinik will get 14th. George Shatsipantelis, we have not spoken about him all day pretty much, but he has been there and he is going to pick up a point from Yuri Zirovatsky, who lost his front wing earlier on in the race. Doesn't get any points today. And then Rajkovic and San Mateo coming along to finish in 17th and 18th place. And then Balasgalia, the last of the non-lapped runners. But after that excitement and strategy, it was Jan Wozniacka who came out on top. United States Grand Prix in the Academy Series. And Cas Rietveld didn't take the championship today, but he still has, I think it will be a 16-point lead, but we'll double check when the results and standings get updated. So 16 points will be difference. Basically to score. Sure, Jan doesn't score 9 points on him. Jan now has 5 victories, which means even if Cas wins next time out, and they somehow, actually I don't think it's possible in that scenario anyway, but even so, if there was some sort of drawing on points, Jan would end up winning on countback. We will look out for that. But that has been it for the United States Grand Prix, and in a short while we will end up with the pro race, which is a slightly longer race, and we'll see if a one-stop strategy work as well, as it seems the tyre wear is quite high around the circuit today. Later on this evening we will have the World Championship. The drivers that we have and the teams that we have will be going out 56 laps around here to see can in race. But the Academy Championship, that is it for 2 weeks. We have Brazil in 2 weeks. Some nice donuts here by the top 3. So I have to check what state Instruct Championship is, but he's going to go down to the wire in Brazil between the 2 Isomars cars. Till then, see you next time.